Okay, before we actually start talking about the new stuff, let's review what we learned in the last chapter with two commands. Do you remember how we form a two command? Like if I gave you the verb comer, how would you tell me to eat? We use the third person singular, the he, she form. So we would just change comer to come. Excelente. And if it was a stem changing verb or anything like that, did it follow those same rules? Like sleep, dormir, would be just duerme. Yep, you still follow all those stem changing and all that stuff in the plain present indicative. What happened if I had a negative to command?
It was the yo form, and then you drop it, and then put the opposite to.
Sí, exactamente. You put it in the yo form, and we drop the o, and then we add the opposite ending. So if I had the verb comer again, and I'm going to say don't eat, we change it to como, drop the o, and add what ending? AS. For ER verbs we add AS, or for IR verbs. And then for AR verbs we add ES. So no comas. What is the tricky part about that part?
You have to put it in the yo first.
The yo form, exactly. The yo form was hard because some verbs like tener go to tango, then you drop the o, and then you add as, tengas. What is all this called? What umbrella was that called? The subjunctive, exactly. And so we're going to start with some more commands with our notes. And then that formal commands form we will fill out here in just a little bit. So let me get this slideshow started. Okay. With command forms, there are other ways other than two commands because you can speak to people formally, like the usted form, or if I want to command you all to do something, we use ustedes. We are going to focus on the usted and ustedes forms in this chapter, and then also we'll move on to nosotros later. But just today we're talking about usted and ustedes form, and we're going to also use the subjunctive. So think about how we form those negative two commands, put it in the yo form, drop the o, and add the opposite endings. We're going to do the same for the usted and ustedes. So there's those steps again, yo form, drop the o, and add the opposite ending. Okay, for usted commands, if it is a AR verb, we're going to use the E ending, and for the ER, IR verbs, we're going to use the A ending. So for two endings, we used AS or ES. For usted, just like the he, she box, we're using A and E. Does that make sense? Okay, they're still using the opposite endings, but we're using the usted box instead of the two box. Here is a sentence with the verb cambiar as an AR verb. This is just a statement. El señor Arroyelo cambia la bombilla. Okay, cambiar means to change. So what is this saying? What is this saying? Mr. Arroyelo is changing the light bulb. Okay, but now I've made it a command, and I said, Señor Arroyelo, please change the light bulb. Okay, so I have the verb cambiar, and I changed it to cambie. It's an AR verb. Put it in the yo form, cambio, drop the o, and add the opposite ending, e. Okay? If I'm going to give a ustedes command, as if I were talking to you all, we're going to use the opposite endings, but in the ustedes box instead of an or en or en in the opposite form. Are you following me here? Okay, here's some examples. Okay, the students, los estudiantes escuchan cuando la maestra habla. And then I have estudiantes escuchen cuando la maestra habla. What's the difference between the two? Okay, we escuchan and escuchen. So what is the first one saying? The students are listening when the teacher talks. And what's the other one say? See, it's got emphasis, students, comma, listen when the teacher talks. Okay, so escuchen, and I say that to you guys a lot, escuchen, Okay, you probably just heard it ever since Spanish 1. I didn't even register with you that it's an AR verb, but I was using the en ending because it's a ustedes command. Escuchen. Y'all listen. Preguntas? No. Following me all right? Okay. Keep in mind there are irregular verbs out there, just like we talked about with the -2 commands. That should say if the stem of a verb is irregular in the UO form, it'll be irregular in the command form. So just like we had the subjunctive with the to form was all sorts of tricky, it's the same with usted and ustedes. Okay, their endings are going to be the same. So like the verb seguir, drop the, put it in the O form, sigo, drop the O, becomes siga. Other verbs that are similar are caer, which goes to caigo, caigo. Hacer, hago. Poner, oh, sorry, skipped one. Oír, oigo. Poner, excelente. Salir, salgo. Venir, vengo. Tener, tengo. Traer, traigo. And ofrecer, ofrezco. Excelente. It's just like the verb conocer. If it ends in CER, it's just like conocer, ofrezco with a ZCO. There are cargazar and gur verbs out there that we talked about in the last chapter. I wanted to remind you of. We do that to keep their spell changing. Car goes to QU, GU on gar. Zar, Z changes to a C, and gur, they change to J. And that's all I'm going to talk about. Let's open up that other document that I gave you, the formal command forms, and let's fill that in as a review. So open that up. The very top, it talks about we use formal commands with speaking with. Who do we speak with when we talk formally? Remember that from Spanish 1? Like, who would you address as usted?
Oh, teachers, professors, parents.
See, so somebody older than you. See, somebody older than you. Who else?
Someone you don't.
A stranger, somebody you don't know, or somebody you just met. So somebody older, somebody you just met, or just in general somebody who you want to do what with? Show respect. Show respect. Yes. Okay, so you use formal commands when you speak with somebody older, you just met, or you don't know, and you want to show respect.